Hey, boo. If I turned and lost my ass doing some dumb shit on a talk show, and he stood up and went and spit on her, I said, stop the show. Al B. Sure was on talking about first loves. Yeah.
Now, did you date him?
I did. And as Al B. would say, and it was all good. Queen Latifah came in. She said, first of all, I'm shocked that you said motherfucker. I've never dreamed I would see her Rolonda Watts say motherfucker.
Rolonda Watts.
I was like, fuck that.
Hello, and welcome to the Comedy Divas Girl Talk podcast, where we talk to funny divas from the stage to the screen to behind the scene and everywhere in between to tell the amazing stories, because you know what? They just aren't told enough. We have a very special diva in the house tonight, but please like and subscribe. I'm Sharon Brathwaite, a.k.a. Sharon B., the host and founder of Comedy Divas. Thank you so much for being here. Now let's get started. This lady, I'm just really excited. Okay, we have Rolonda Watts. She's an actress, a TV and radio host, voice actor. She's an announcer, an author, and a comedian. And you know what? She's just a New York legend on top of that. Please welcome Rolonda Watts.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Like I said, truly a New York legend. I'm from New York, so I see you on TV growing up and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I always like to just jump in. When did you know you were funny?
Oh my gosh, when I was a kid, I was pretty funny. I used to have an Aunt Nancy, and when she was cooking, I would always talk to her, and she would laugh at everything I said. And that's when I first got an idea. I couldn't wait to go to her house just to make her laugh. But I think my father was really funny. And my father was hilarious. And I think I picked up just a lot of just observations in life from him, just funny observations.
And a little bit about your background, because you're a Southern girl.
Yeah, I'm from North Carolina, from Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
And did you ever have an accent? I'm just curious. Did you
I still have an accent.
I don't. Your voice is so immaculate. Like,
Thank you.
You got that non-regional down that you had to do in news.
Hey, that's right. That's true. But but my Southern comes out, and then I get mad. I sound like I'm from Brooklyn.
So what was your path to get to not only, we're going to talk about comedy because you're doing stand-up, but you did newscasting, you did voice work, you're an author, all of these things. So
And a talk show.
Of course, the talk
And
show.
a podcast.
We're going to get that. Because the Rolonda Show, we all like that.
Right.
So what was your path going from doing news to today?
Well, when I finished news, I went into talk shows. And then when I finished my talk show, I decided I had always wanted to be an actor and I always wanted to do something more creative than covering mobsters and mayhem and murder. And when I had done everything I could do in New York, I decided to go to Hollywood and become an actor. And so I just up and left, went to Hollywood and became an actor. My first job was on Sister Sister playing Vivica.
Now, y'all remember on Sister Sister now.
Yeah.
Miss Vivica.
Hey, boo. But I did a lot of sitcoms, Jamie Foxx, Steve Harvey, did dramas, Bull, Criminal Minds, soap operas, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and just fell in love with it. And then I got into voice acting when the writers went on strike. And I was like, I can't go back and do news again. I can't,
That was the first strike. That was the
first strike. That was back in
early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, I had just gotten there in '98, and it was on a roll. I was getting sitcoms, and I was doing commercials, and then boom. At that time, that was the longest strike in Hollywood history for 9 months.
Yeah.
And I went from being an internationally syndicated talk show host to serving pizza to the writers on the pizza line, on the picket line. But something, I was not going to turn back because I said, I came here to be an actor. I'm just going to have to stick it through. I've got to figure this out because there is no going back. This is it. There's no B plan. This is it. And so I had to look within, and I said, if you don't go within, you go without. What other gifts do I have? What can I do? And I knew I had a voice because I would call, back then there was 411, You know, I know y'all, some of you don't have any idea what I'm talking about.
What information is? I have no clue.
411, you used to call on the phone and there was an operator and she'd give you a number. But when I would call, they would know who I was. They'd be like, is this Rolonda? The Rolonda? And I was like, yeah, I guess it is. And then I said, well, maybe I can do something with my voice. And so I started studying and went to a audition, couldn't figure it out. I could not make it. I thought it'd be so easy because everybody knew my voice. But I took some classes and realized it's not really about your voice, it's about your acting ability.
Yeah.
And so I had to learn a new set of muscles, but that thing saved me. And I went on to be the voice of Judge Joe Brown in Divorce Court. Now the Sherri Show every morning, I'm on that. I do tons of commercials. I'm Professor Wiseman on Curious George. I do Legos. I do Madagascar, Tyler Perry's Medea's Tough Love. And you know, it's been a. Oh, I have a new one, Invincible Fight Girl. That's now. If you love wrestling and you love animation, you gonna love this show.
Okay.
And it's about a little girl who wants to be the world's greatest wrestler, and I'm her mentor, the evil Aunt P. You know, but it's just a fun career. And then, of course, when the strike was over, we went back to acting, and I haven't looked back. It's busted out a whole new career for me, and I just got an Emmy last year, and part of that was my acting in the soap operas and also for Curious George for acting and for Sherri, and the soap operas, so for daytime TV.
Let me add that Emmy winner.
Yeah,
That's
Emmy.
important.
Listen,
Emmy
not
winner.
just an Emmy winner. I was inducted into the honorary Silver Circle, which is for 40-year contribution to daytime television.
Congratulations.
So an Emmy, which I always dreamed of receiving, of course, would have been for one piece of work.
Yeah.
This is for my entire body of work over 40 years. And I can't even begin to tell you what that meant to me, because I thought my Emmy days were over. And I never had any idea that when I got an Emmy, it would include my voice work. So it was a good path. God had a path for me.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's never over.
Never over.
Never
Reinvention is the name of the game.
Keep going. That's awesome. So I want to back you up.
Okay.
Because like I said, I knew about you with your newscaster days. So what was it like, you know, being a newscaster in New York City, one of the toughest markets in the country?
Oh, well, it was wonderful. I mean, you can't beat. If you want to be a news reporter and you're serious about it, you want to be in New York. And back then when I was covering news, it was during the 80s, so we were covering mobsters. The Gottis hadn't even taken over yet, so big Italian mob wars. We were covering murders and a lot of mob murders. And we covered AIDS, which nobody was talking about then.
Yeah.
We were losing friends left and right. There were some really tough stories. Homelessness was just coming out. So it was a great time to be a news reporter in New York City, because some of the grittiest, grimiest stories that helped shape laws and lives and hearts happened in the city, especially during that time. And that was when I would say journalism was journalism. When we did real news,
Yeah.
real interviews, real stuff. So it was a great time to be in New York.
You were in the
doing news.
trenches.
In the trenches,
Yeah.
yeah, beating these streets in high heel shoes.
Forget the high heel shoes. Through all weather, too.
All weather.
All weather.
I was the one standing out on the New Jersey Turnpike, freezing, telling you, don't leave your house. It's too cold to come out.
Oh, my goodness. So any favorite stories from back then that you covered?
As a news reporter?
Yeah, as a news reporter.
Oh, gosh. Well, let's see. When the first bombing of the World Trade Center happened, I know this is a comedy show, but, you know, it was interesting because I covered a school class that was there for a visit.
Oh, wow.
And I interviewed these kids who were stuck in the elevator at that time. And I talked with them about how this might shape their ideas of world peace. Sadly, when we look at the class that was there this time, they didn't make it out. But, you know, I do remember times like that when we were getting a hint of what was to come. You know, covering deadly train crashes and talking to Ivana Trump after the Donald cheated on her.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Those types of things. But it might, you know, that's the beauty of what we brought to my talk show, and I think that's what made us stand out, is that we had a journalistic edge to the things that we did.
Absolutely.
And we talked about racism, and we had the KKK on, and we talked about families in crisis and stuff like that. So I think we really made a difference. But when things got crazy, you know, it was like, we don't throw chairs and we don't do that.
Absolutely.
Not on the Rolonda Show. It was
Not
bad
on
enough we
Rolonda.
had metal detectors, but it was like, it would just, the industry changed and it wasn't where I belonged anymore.
Now, how did you get the Rolonda Show?
Roger King, who is still to this day in heaven, the #1 sellingest human being in television history. He's the guy who discovered Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Oprah, American Journal Inside Edition, and he was a dear friend of mine. And I was a reporter at ABC, and he kept meeting me every Christmas at the Christmas party, asking me to do a talk show. And I said, no, I'm a journalist. I don't do talk shows. And he said, you've got a lot more to say than a minute, 30 seconds. And I was like, but you already have an Oprah. You don't need me. 5 years this man went on asking me.
Really?
I mean, talk about a courtship. That was a courtship. And then finally he said, I need your help. I really need your help. He was, he needed to help put his company in a position to sell one day. And he needed me. There was a show that wasn't doing well. And Oprah was talking about leaving, and he was like, I need you to come in here. And so 2 weeks from that, I was on the air. We didn't have a pilot. We didn't have anything. I was just thrown in there. I've been known for doing live television. I had an Emmy nomination for live television coverage. And back then, a lot of people weren't doing live. So he said, I know you can come in here, and I know every day you can do an hour live on your feet. And that's what I did.
You just got thrown in.
Thrown in, no pilot, no nothing. I was on Inside Edition, would finish my job there, take the microphone off from anchoring the news, and then cross the hall and go do whatever show we were trying to figure out what we were doing.
Just hustling.
We figured it out on the air in front of millions of people. I said it was like walking out on stage buck naked and telling people, hold on, we got a trunk here with some costumes. I'm gonna figure this out. You know, you're just figuring it out in real time, live on television. But it worked.
Do you have an all-time favorite guest from your talk show?
Oh, James Brown.
Oh, come on.
You know, when he proposed to me live on television.
okay.
You know that was one of my favorites. We had Aretha Franklin, who let me sing backup for her and cook shrimp a la Riri with her. Albie Shore was on, talking about first loves. And, you know, we just had some really good shows. We really did. We had Naomi Judd on, who was talking about depression long before she came out in public with it. But we had Bill Cosby, we had Whoopi Goldberg, we had Yolanda King, MLK's daughter. We just had a really good show. And of course we had the KKK and we had some other crazy people, but it was, we had a wonderful 4 seasons.
Now I'm going to get in your business a little bit, Miss Rolonda, because you mentioned Albie Shore.
Yes.
Now, didn't you date him?
I did. And as Albie would say, and it was all good.
What was it like dating Mr. Shore? Because he was
wonderful.
the man.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's just wonderful. And we're still very dear friends to this day. But he is such a gentleman, and he's a good person. And he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot about business because, you remember, I was local. I was a local news reporter who got thrust into the national, international scene. And here he was, this big star. Of course, he was so much younger than me, and I was like, I can't. I just can't. But he was persistent, and we had quite a whirlwind, a wonderful time together. And he advised me a lot. He and James Brown, too, advised me a lot about business. And I will say that Albie, even though he was much younger, he gave me great advice and really helped me claim myself on the international stage. But he was like, you're not local anymore.
What I want to talk about also is the hair, because you were doing that hair, that you had that pixie short, sexy haircut before Halle Berry, before Toni Braxton. It was you, Miss Rolonda.
It was, yeah. I wore people out with that hair. the New York would go nuts over my hair, and the news director was going nuts over my hair too.
I'm sure.
But at that point, when I cut off all my hair, because nobody had hair that short. It was so short. And my point was, it was the 1980s. Women were so busy trying to do everything at that time, wearing the big shoulder pads and that hard makeup and running around trying to act like men. And I cut off all my hair and people went nuts. And I said, it's not about what's on your head, it's about what's in it.
That part.
And you're wasting too much time on hair. you need to be tending to your business. This was before wigs and all the things we have now, to be simple. And I was just like, we don't have to always have hair like everybody else. We can do our own thing, and it's about what's in your head, not on it.
That's right.
And then I went blonde, and they flipped out because ABC was hiring only white people with blonde hair, and New York Post said, WABC has become the Aryan nation.
Oh.
So I dyed my hair blonde. And the general manager called my agent and said, has she lost her mind? Rolonda has dyed her hair blonde. And my agent said, well, she's trying to keep her job because all you're hiring is blonde people. She's just trying to keep her job. So I was always a little rebel.
That's right. I know that's right.
Oh, you want blonde? I'll give you blonde.
I'll give you blonde. It's like,
and black people weren't wearing blonde back then.
So people love it now.
They were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, girl.
You were definitely before your time.
And let me tell you another hair story. I'm just going to tell you this.
Yes, please.
Back then, the extensions hadn't come in yet.
Yeah.
But my hair guy, Hairstyling by Joseph's, which was huge in New York, we got into the extensions, So I had the anchor woman helmet head, that hair to here. And so he put in 2 tracks of extensions that made my hair longer.
Ooh.
Baby, the New York Post on page 6 said, there must be a Chinese woman running around China going, where is my hair? Where is my hair? Because Rolonda Watts' African-American hair stopped here, and then Chinese hair came out of it.
Oh, no.
Can you believe it? So I guess it had texture, and then it was very straight. Well, yeah.
No.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what they said. But my hair made news again.
There you go.
There you go.
They couldn't help but talk about
That's
you.
so funny. I think I still have that little blurb.
Oh my goodness.
That New York
you
Post.
Got to let me see that. I've got to see that. Things have come a long way.
Yeah.
They have come a long way. I worked as an actor, for years too. It was nightmares. You were scared who was going to be in the makeup and hair trailer.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't know what they were doing.
Well, that's why you had to learn to do your own. Back in my day, you had to learn to do your own makeup, your own hair. And in my case, you had to learn how to do your makeup in the dark in the back of a flying news van. When people marvel to this day that I can put my makeup on in a moving car, and it comes from those those news days. But honey, you had to be beat when you got out to do that live shot. I don't care what time it was or what that truck was going through. You had to have your makeup on.
Did not
and
play.
your hair did,
and people were not forgiving.
No, no.
The hair thing, it's like, people don't know. Like the wig is popular, the braids are popular. You couldn't get away with that back in the day.
We weren't doing wigs.
You weren't allowed.
You were allowed. People just weren't doing them.
No, I mean like braids.
No,
like you could have never worn braids.
Oh, hell no. You couldn't even walk into the newsroom visiting wearing no hair braid. That wasn't going on. All the anchor women had that blown out. We would sit under the dryer with those big old curlers, and then they'd blow your hair out and press it and do whatever. No. No.
Yeah.
I was the one who had the little extensions. That was
How dare they?
How dare they?
you?
No, we weren't. No, you had to look like everybody else. We used to call it the helmet head because everybody had that big hair,
So you did your talk show. How did it come to an end? Why did it come to an end? Because, it was very popular. We loved you on there.
Yeah, but I wasn't willing to do the Jerry Springer, Maury Povich, Jenny Jones crap, Geraldo Rivera. I wasn't doing that.
Right.
I wasn't throwing chairs. I wasn't doing pop baby quizzes. And see, back in that day, the people that they were really exposing and taking advantage of were black women. And I wasn't going to stand by and allow that on my show.
Very true.
We had a case where young man came on the show to ambush his girlfriend to tell her that he was dating somebody else, and she turned around and said, well, I'm dating somebody else too. And he stood up and went and spit on her. I said, stop the show. Oh, nope, stop the show. I wouldn't even finish the show because I knew the producers would try to run it because it would have been a ratings hit.
Yeah.
But not under my name. You will not disrespect black women, any woman, anybody under my name. Not happening. You're not going to write your paycheck with my name on it because you disrespected people. I don't do that. I don't ambush people. I don't disrespect people. And I have a reputation of 40 years, well, then it was 30, of integrity. I'm not going to do that. You would not respect me, knowing the news reporter who you grew up with.
Yeah.
If I turned and lost my ass doing some dumb shit on a talk show, you would be what price glory, as my mother always said.
Yeah.
What are you willing to do for your fame? And I'm not willing to do just anything. And I got here on my feet, not my back. And so I take great pride in that, and I'm not blowing that for anybody. So it was time to go. We had a good 4-year run. It was time to go. Sure, I left tons of money on the table. Sure, I was on TV every day. But not under those circumstances. That will never happen under the name Rolonda Watts. The Watts family, Spelman College, Columbia University's Graduate School of Journalism, Winston-Salem State University, where I have my doctorate. Are you freaking kidding me? You think I'm going to sell my soul for an hour on television? Now, there are a lot of y'all that'll do that. A lot of y'all out there doing that right now. You're doing that from home in front of your little cameras. You better think about that, because that's going to follow you for the rest of your life.
Amen. It doesn't go away. Especially now.
Never goes away.
The internet is forever.
Not up in here.
So I'm so surprised you didn't realize how amazing your voice was until someone told you.
Well, I knew I had a voice. I just didn't even know what voice acting was.
Gotcha.
You know, I was actually doing voice acting when I was doing my talk show, because I would do my promos. Coming up on Monday, we've got a... And I didn't know I was a voice actor.
Chills. I love it.
You know, if I knew I was a voice actor, I'd have had a very different contract.
That part.
Because I was two different roles,
Yes.
the talk show host and the voice actor.
So for someone who may want to get into voice acting, and you teach.
And I teach.
So let's talk about your
I have a
class.
voice acting master class that started during COVID when everybody was at home getting depressed. And I said, y'all better learn something new, because I was still working. You know, when the strike happened with the physical actors, we were still working.
That's right.
So I tell my actor friends it's a great backup. And I tell, you know, I have a lot of students who are, you know, grown people, most of them over 30 and 40. But they're in reinventing themselves.
Yes.
They're coming from corporate jobs they hate. They want to be more creative. A lot of them have been told all their lives they have beautiful voices and never knew there was anything to do with them. And they're leaving money on the table. The only thing is, they know they can do it. They just don't know where to begin or who to trust or where to begin. You can trust me.
There you go. So how
and
can
you know,
people...
it's so funny because I put up today on social media, one of my students, she's standing up there, she's so proud with the microphone, she's doing live announcing. And I'm so proud of her, because I remember when she came in like, what is this all about? What is this voice acting all about? And today she was on LinkedIn with a big picture of her doing live announcing. And I'm so proud to be part of somebody's life making their dreams come true.
That's
because
awesome.
I see it when they come in. I got one of my students came in, she was so lost, she didn't want to, but she knew she could do it. She knew she could do it. She wanted to go into animation. She tried that. And then she fell in love with audiobooks. And I'll never forget when she was on Instagram and she put on Instagram, I'm quitting my day job. I'm going into being just a narrator for audiobooks.
Wow.
And I have a student who's the voice of Tinder. I have students who are just doing amazing things. One student came in there, she's already an actress and she's a big comedian. And she said, I'm getting tired of my agent sending me a bunch of auditions for voice acting. I don't know anything about voice acting, and she's making me play birds. And I said, well, come on to Mike. Come on, let's play birds. So she came. I had her playing every bird there was. Eagles, birds. Now, I don't know how.
They're not making money.
And look, I don't know how it happened. God's got a sense of humor. Do you know the first voiceover gig that she booked was for Warner Brothers, playing Queen Tweety Bird?
Wow.
The canary.
I
don't even know how that happens.
That's
And I know because I had auditioned for the role too, but she got it. I do play a bird. I play a pigeon on Curious George. I play Professor Wiseman, and I also play Compass the pigeon. No, he doesn't do that. I went into my hawk.
Oh
No,
my
but
goodness.
you know,
I love it.
that's the fun part of it too. I'm teaching a class tonight on improv. And I think it's so wonderful because people get out of their way. They get to use their imagination because this is a craft that's a microphone, you in a little closet, and making up funny voices.
And it's great. I'm glad you're talking about this because people don't realize all the different ways you can make money or be successful or have a career. And voiceover work is it can be lucrative. It's a hustle.
It's a tough,
you know what I mean?
yeah, it's a tough road.
It's not as lucrative as it used to be.
Right.
But it is an option, and you can do it home.
That's
Can
right.
You can talk about
You
that
work
a little
from
bit.
anywhere.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a walk-in closet in my home that I tricked out. I put up pads. I also have my coats hanging in there so that I absorb sound. A lot of people think, ooh, you have to go to a studio. It's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Bah, humbug. We go in our closet. There are times I've done Sherri's promos. I'm on vacation and I set up a moving blanket or a comforter over the ironing board and do my work.
I love
or go
it.
in a closet. We have what we call our pillow forts, where you take the pillow and muffle the sound, and we learn all those tricks. But I can work from anywhere, anytime.
Anywhere in the world.
In the world. And I've done my work from Paris. I've done work from Turks and Caicos. I've done my work from traveling. Yeah. Absolutely. But, I think a lot of people think it costs a lot of money. You don't even have to have a great voice. You do have to have some acting under your chops. And you do have to take a class, I think, if you're going to do this craft, just so you understand how the industry works and understanding your own voice. And
How can people take your class?
you just go to Rolonda.com.
And it's Rolonda.
That's right.
right.
I've got some new offerings now. We've got a membership thing going, and I have my big class, which is a 6-week intensive online. You can take the class from anywhere too. But I'm also if you're somebody who's like, I think I could do that. I'd like to do it, but I don't know if I want to take 6 weeks. Or I want to do it, but I don't want to pay a whole bunch of money. Okay, I've got a mini quick starter course that it's actually the first 2 modules of my longer course, but it'll help you set up your space, it'll help you edit, it'll help you break down scripts, the basic stuff, just so you can get a practice and an idea. And I do a bunch of free webinars too.
Nice.
So you have just go over
Just
to my
follow you.
website,
How can
follow
people-
me at Rolonda Watts, Rolonda, Rolonda.com, and you can find out everything. I also have another, I'll give it to you, but I have another website we just built with the new stuff, students.rolonda.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned Sherri Shepherd.
Yes.
It's so awesome. First of all,
Yes.
she's a comedy diva. I just love her. She's amazing.
And she let me open for her at City Winery.
She did?
Yes.
Oh, so can we talk about Sherri? And can we
Sure.
talk about your new comedy career?
Sure.
How did you get the Sherri Show?
Oh my God. First of all, my father was madly in love with Sherri. When my parents came to New York from North Carolina, I got them tickets to The View. My daddy said, I'm not here to see The View. I'm here to see Sherri. And Sherri took a nice picture with them. Sherri and I have known each other from the California days, sitcoms and stuff. But Sherri's executive producer, former executive producer now, John Murray, was on my talk show when he was a student coming to visit the show back when he was in college.
Love
he
John.
fell in love with television, came back to the show, said, I want to be in television. So I had him, we booked him on the show to actually do a romance, some fun show we had, and had him come on and do a romance reunion. That's what it was. And he came on the show because I wanted him to see how things work behind the stage, how you were booked and all of that. Fell in love with it. Skip to decades later, he becomes the executive producer of a talk show.
Yeah.
And both he and Sherri said, Rolonda's got to do it. The legends got to come in. And they are so supportive.
That's awesome.
And for them to give me my return to daytime television and not have to do it every day dressed up with lashes on.
It's the perfect scenario.
It's the perfect scenario.
Awesome.
It has just been wonderful, and I'm so proud of her. It's so fulfilling when I look at the landscape of television today, and I see my Sherri, and I see my Tamron, and even Kelly and Drew and
Yeah.
Jennifer. I mean, it's a different landscape today,
Yeah.
and I'm happy that me keeping my integrity in my show, me still showing up every day, helped break the way for them. and hopefully they don't have to go through half the battles I did, but they will have their own.
For sure.
And they will have my support behind them. So it's exciting to see you passing on the baton.
There you
passing
go.
on the baton.
Thank you for paving the way for so
right.
many.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We blood, sweat, and tears, baby. Blood,
sure.
sweat, on the pavements of these streets.
And I had the pleasure of seeing Miss Rolonda do her stand-up.
Yay.
Just with Shantae Wayne's show.
Right.
And you were awesome.
Thank you.
How'd you get into stand-up? And where can people see you perform?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Well, how'd I get into stand-up? It all started with a dare. A couple of things happened all at one time. Kim Coles was getting married.
Okay.
And she had a big bridesmaids party where, you know, people were roasting her. Of course, all of her friends are top comedians. You got Queen Latifah, you got Erica Alexander, you got all of Sherri, everybody, you know.
Yeah.
And she said, I want you to get up and do some comedy. I said, I'm not getting up in front of those people. She said, you said to me, because I had whispered to her one day, I'd like to be a stand-up comedian. She said, you told me that, and now's your chance. I said, there's no way. She said, I know you got 5 minutes of funny in you, Rolonda. So I said, okay, I'll talk about something. At that time, I was going through menopause, and my body had been taken over by this fucking heat, okay? And I was so upset, and I could not think of anything but me sweating out there, busting into sweat in front of all these people. And I started ranting. I about, I don't even have to go to the gym to sweat anymore. I just go to bed. And sometimes the only difference between me and a rabid pit bull is lipstick. And sometimes I'm talking to my friends and I'm going, and I just want to say, shut the fuck up. And I'm going on and they are on the floor. At that time, nobody had talked about menopause. This was about 2016, 17, 18, something like that.
Okay.
And nobody was out talking about menopause. And I'll never forget, there was a woman, she was in her 70s, and she sat on the front row, and she laughed so hard. And when she was over, she said, you got to keep doing this. Queen Latifah came in. She said, first of all, I'm shocked that you said motherfucker. I've never dreamed I would see her Rolonda Watts say motherfucker.
Rolonda Watts.
I was like, fuck that. And she was like, you got to keep doing this. So I studied. I studied with David Arnold.
Oh,
I studied
David.
at Flat.
Rest in peace, David.
I know,
oh, my
David.
gosh.
I took workshops and classes and got out there and beating the pavement in Los Angeles, doing the open mics and all of that, and became a regular at Comedy Store and Laugh Factory. Where was it? Caroline's. I was a regular. Always when I came to New York, Caroline would let me up at Caroline's. And I got to do a lot of good things. Got to open for Linnell in Las Vegas at the Jimmy Kimmel Theater. I'm going to be opening for her at Flappers this December.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to keep people posted on that.
Please.
Yes,
Just follow me on
yes.
social media because you know
Yeah.
I'm going to be telling you. Yeah.
So that's
it's good.
wonderful.
And it's a wonderful craft. I really enjoy it, love it. And, and I'm still learning. I mean, I'm in everything I do, I'm still learning. You never stop learning.
But you're brave because it's hard.
It's hard.
Stand up is hard.
But I love it. I
That's
just
awesome.
love it. I'll throw, very little embarrasses me, but I'll throw myself out there. But I like it a lot.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are your 2 sitcoms you're working on?
I've got one called Mind Your Business,
Okay.
which you will love. It's on BounceTV, and I play the matriarch of the family, Lucille Williams. It's a hoot. I love that show, so please watch. We are hoping to get a 3rd season.
Mind Your Business.
Uh-huh.
We had Brayley on here.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So congratulations.
Good. Thank
Yeah.
you. We love our little show. It's doing very well. The other one, I play a recurring role on Michelle Buteau's Survival of the Thickest
Yes.
on Netflix.
She's another diva.
Oh, she's
Love
awesome.
her. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, she's amazing, and
She's
they
great.
love her at Netflix. And what she is doing as a woman in television is amazing. She's just fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. And I love Khalil Tone Bell, who's my son.
Handsome young man.
Oh, gorgeous.
I see the cougar coming out. Is the
The
cougar coming
cougar
out?
comes out. No, his mom is a cougar, but not with her son. But she loves her son's friends.
There you go. The friends
She's
aren't
like,
off limits.
Khalil, why didn't you tell me your friends were so cute?
So we have to check those out too.
Please do.
Absolutely. This has been wonderful. Could talk to you all day. So we always like to ask people, if you had a Mount Rushmore of Black women in comedy, who would your 4 be? And it can be stand-up, it can be comedic actress, it can be someone living or still here or not here. 4 people, Mount Rushmore.
Black people?
Black women in comedy.
Black women in comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, Mom's Mabley would be right on up there. I'd put her in the middle, just looking out there like, Whoopi Goldberg, who just blew me away when I first saw her on Broadway.
Yes,
what
that
she's
show.
Oh gosh, she's
Classic.
just so classic. Who else? Well, I gotta say Jackie. I'm gonna throw her in there because my first job was on Sister Sister, and she took me under her wing and helped me learn how to do comedy.
I love that. I love that.
And who else? I'm gonna throw Sherri in there just because I
Throw
love
Sherri
her.
in there.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's
a
a
good
good
core.
little
I
group.
love
I'm
it.
seeing it now, and Mom's Mabley sticking her head out in between her, and the girls in the back laughing.
Those are good ones. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Miss Rolonda.
Thank you so much.
I'm such a fan. I'm so glad you joined us today.
Yes.
Thank you for being a comedy diva.
Yes, and thank you for being one too, and allowing me to talk with you.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
You're
And you keep up the
amazing.
good work.
You're a legend. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank
and thank
you.
you for being with us on the Comedy Divas Girl Talk podcast. Please like, subscribe. Tell us what you thought of Miss Rolonda, honey, and let us know who else you want to see. I'm Sharon B. Thank you for being here.